Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
A Marine City business shutting down after a heated incident outside at their door involving cameras and pepper spray. The incident now an active police investigation. We thank you so much for being here with us for the news at 6 o'clock. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm Damon Fernandez. You know, that confrontation was caught on video and posted to YouTube by a group claiming to defend First Amendment rights. Critics say these types of groups try to provoke confrontations in order to get clicks on social media.
And since the video dropped, Zimmerman's meat market owners say they've been hit with death threats. Amaya Kuznicki live tonight for us. And Amaya, they've decided it's not safe to keep the doors open.
Video. In that video, you can see 3 people holding up their cameras, and you just see them going back and forth with the owners. And then at one point, one of them even pulls out a can of pepper spray.
Stay the back.
We wanted to be in a historic little town. I just had no idea this is what we bargained for.
According to Richard and his daughter Sarah, this all started when 3 people showed up outside their business, Zimmerman's Meat Market, and began recording without any explanation.
Can I help you?
What kind of help you offering?
The visitors travel around recording businesses to show First Amendment rights, but things turned physical when one of them pepper sprayed Richard. We asked why, and the person said they feared for their safety and warned Richard to back off, while Richard says he was just trying to get help from a nearby officer.
The guy kept on saying something about stay away from me, and it's like, I'm not going for you. You can see in the video where he moves to stay in front of me, and I thought he was spraying silly string at me or something.
Sarah says the argument got out of hand and admits she was part of it, but she also tried to call the police to stop it, making 3 911 calls.
I had no idea why they did this, who they were, where they came from, and what they wanted.
An officer did show up, but both owners say they're unhappy with how the police handled the situation. They claim the department didn't take it seriously.
We were used and not protected at all.
Since then, they've received death threats, decided to close the business, and are seeking legal help. They've even put a sign on their door that says, "Don't count on MCPD to protect you." The police chief says they're aware of the sign and respect the business owner's right to free speech. He added that their focus remains on providing professional law enforcement services to the whole community. As for the incident, he says he can't comment further due to the ongoing investigation.
I did everything I was supposed to do. I called 911. I was scared, and now my life is over because the police wouldn't protect me.
Now, actually, today, the business owners had a sit-down meeting with the police chief and the city manager. Now, I spoke with the city manager on the phone, and he said after the investigation comes to an end, there will be another look into how things were handled by police. We're live tonight. Amaya Kuznicki, Local 4.
Minneapolis, where an ICE officer shot and killed a woman during an operation in a residential neighborhood near downtown. The Trump administration says the officer acted in self-defense, claiming the driver tried to hit agents with her car. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey says that's a, quote, garbage narrative, and that footage of the incident doesn't support the claim that the car was being weaponized against an ICE agent. Right now, he's demanding ICE leave the city. We'll have much more on this ahead on Nightly News at 6:30.
A man shot by police in Allen Park Sunday is facing criminal charges. It happened on Southfield Road near Roger Avenue. Stephen Strickland of Lincoln Park was reportedly threatening to harm himself with a box cutter. Police from Allen Park and Lincoln Park responded. When he refused officers' commands to drop the cutter, they fired a taser, followed by non-lethal rounds. Police say Strickland made a move toward them with the weapon. An officer shot him in his arm. He's expected to be okay, but is now charged with felony assault and resisting and obstructing.
Well, tomorrow, the U.S. House is set to vote on extending enhanced tax credits under the Affordable Care Act. Now, those credits put in place during COVID and extended in 2022 lapsed on January 1st, driving up health care costs for 22 million Americans. Well, ahead of tomorrow's vote, we spoke with Michigan lawmakers on both sides of the aisle to see where they stand.
The folks coming to testify at our press conferences here on the Hill, on the Capitol steps, talk about the fact that they have cancer now. They can't stop having cancer tomorrow. And their care is interrupted because of the fact that we have not extended, the Congress has not extended the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Again, it helps keep insurance affordable for communities like ours.
The biggest reason why I don't like these extended subsidies is because they don't go to reduce premiums. All these subsidies do is go to line the pockets of big insurance companies who, I might add, their profits have increased over 600%.
Congresswoman McClain told us she'll be voting no, while Congresswoman Tlaib said she'll be a yes vote tomorrow.
Well, at the state level, Michigan's Attorney General says a vote to remove $645 million in funding for previously approved work projects was unconstitutional. Last month, the House Appropriations Committee voted to disapprove that unspent money from the prior fiscal year, impacting everything from children's cancer programs and fire trucks to cash support for new parents. AG Dana Nessel today issuing a formal opinion saying the way House Republicans rolled back that funding violates the state constitution because it puts too much power in the hands of one committee.
Our state constitution does not permit for one committee within one chamber to hold veto authority over a budget that was passed by both the state House and Senate and then signed into law by the governor.
Now, House Republicans, meanwhile, say the projects themselves aren't legal because they feel they're vague and lack oversight. A statement from Representative Ann Bolin reads, quote, "The committee acted fully within its legal authority under a law that has been on the books for decades, a statute enacted in the 1980s that clearly allows the legislature to disapprove work projects that do not meet the standards required by law. Nothing about that authority is new and nothing about our action was unconstitutional," end quote. Statements from Bolin and Speaker Matt Hall today did not address whether both chambers, the House and Senate, need to be involved in this type of decision.
Tonight, Governor Gretchen Whitmer is appealing last month's ruling from a federal judge blocking the state from enforcing a 2020 order that would have closed the Line 5 pipeline beneath the Straits of Mackinac. Now, the judge said in this case, federal authority supersedes state authority. Line 5, owned by Canadian company Enbridge, has been operating for more than 70 years, carrying oil through the Great Lakes region. But environmental groups are concerned about the risk of a catastrophic oil spill. Well, the federal government released new dietary guidelines today.
They did, and those recommendations will shape the types of food schools serve, what doctors recommend to patients, and what can be purchased on food stamps. So the new chart, which brings back the old pyramid motif, but this time it's inverted. Dr. Frank McGeorge is here to kind of break down some of these changes, Doc.
Well, you know, federal data actually finds more than half of the calories that Americans are consuming come from ultra-processed foods, putting them at risk for a long list of health problems. Now, the guidelines emphasize the importance of real food that does not come from a package. Department of Agriculture update the federal dietary guidelines based on the latest research. The new guidelines echo past advice, but also include some nods to HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Make America Healthy Again movement, urging Americans to prioritize protein and healthy fats and limit their consumption of ultra-processed foods and added sugar.
The new guidelines recognize that whole, nutrient-dense food is the most effective path to better health and lower health care costs.
Officials say that following the guidance can help prevent the onset or slow the rate of progression of chronic disease, as well as lower health care costs.
30% of health care costs are directly attributable to obesity.
The inverted pyramid puts meats and vegetables in the widest part at the top, flipping a long-standing visual of the American diet and moving away from the circular My Plate.
Dietary guidelines shape dozens of federal feeding programs, including Head Start. These standards affect 45 million school lunches every day.
The new guidelines also tell Americans, when adding fats to meals, to, quote, prioritize oils with essential fatty acids, such as olive oil. Other options can include butter or beef tallow. Now, the updated guidelines are raising questions with some experts who worry that they put too much emphasis on red meat and dairy products. Now, the guidelines also emphasize less alcohol for better health, but eliminates the previous recommendation that men limit their intake to 2 drinks or less per day and women to 1 drink or less.
Well, we know one place where this has potential to make some changes is the school lunch program. So how soon do you think we could see those changes?
So probably not very soon, actually. This is kind of a complicated process unless the administration actually speeds it up. First, the Agriculture Department actually has to use the recommendations to create specific requirements for school meals, which can take years, and then the schools actually have to implement those changes, which can also take time. So it may be quite a while before we see some effect trickle all the way down.
All right, Doc, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Okay, now we are going to
check in
move
with
to the
Kim.
forecast.
Yeah. So we know that things are going to be warming up here, and things are still melting outside too. But with the cold temperatures, we could still see some slippery situations.
Yeah, I mean, it's really your sidewalks and your driveways, and especially if you live on the west side where they had a little bit more of a snowpack that's still melting. Out at the airport tonight, a big improvement from last night when we had all that fog. Right now, just cloudy skies, 40 in Detroit, 36 in Pontiac, 41 in Grosse Ile, upper 30s in Port Huron.